So I'm Janet Thomas, CEO of Intellect Design, and I cover risk, treasury and capital markets. What's brought me here this year to Women in Finance Summit is that I've been participating in the summit for the last 2 years. In 2014 to 2017, I was president of WIBF and was happy to collaborate with the organisation Women in Finance Summit when they started. And so we've continued that relationship, and I'm delighted to see that Vivian has actually hosted the summit today. So on the panel I was on today, it was basically AI in the fintech industry. And it's such a hot topic currently. So the areas that we covered was obviously gender diversity, the impact of gender diversity in AI, and what the benefits are that we see for women in that sector. So what stood out for me on the panel is that when we look at the finance sector, the issues that we experience today in the overall finance industry, we're beginning to see those same issues emerge in the fintech industry. And that's because really the two sectors are one. It's just that the innovation aspect of fintech is what helps the finance industry to advance globally. My key takeaway today from being not only a participant but also being part of the audience today is that whilst we have made some level of progress and we still have a long way to go, I feel that the progress that has been achieved to date the quality of it needs to be improved, and therefore the continuation of measuring, reporting and adjusting some of the metrics that were developed when the summit started 3 years ago is quite key, that the summit continues and that we can see how that progress develops over time. So there's a lot more to be expected in terms of results and outcome. We're not there yet. So in terms of the map that I showed earlier on, which was it's a global fintech hub index undertaken by Judge University, which is the business school for Cambridge University. When you look at that map, what's really surprising is that you see Beijing, which has never been recognised as a finance sector, being number one as a fintech hub, and then San Francisco number 2, and then Wall Street or New York as number 3 and London 4. And so what that tells me is that if London wants to maintain its preeminence in finance, it's something that we need to look at. Now, I know the government, we had Nikki Morgan here today, and she's the chair of the Treasury Select Committee, talk about the work that she has undertaken to promote more diversity on a broader scale, not just gender. And I think that we need to London needs to focus on that and make sure that it exploits all the talent that it has at its fingertips, because I think that if it doesn't, we could see London slide down the global fintech index, and I don't think that should happen, given that for a long time London's been the financial centre of the globe. So I think there's some work to be done. So as the summit that has taken place today, I think it's extremely important, because what it does, it brings together all the industry thought leaders in one room on a particular day in the calendar for everyone to talk about progress, issues and how we can move forward. And I don't actually think there's an event that actually does that on this scale. So what I'd like to see is that continue. And I know that John Glenn, the MP for diversity, mentioned that he wouldn't want to come back here in the near future. But I think that this summit should continue, but maybe the scope of it should be broadened when we achieve the level of diversity that we're expecting to achieve.